Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the upper bracket finals of the House Galactic Battle number 3 by ENDORFY. I'm of course your VIP, and with me, I am no longer alone. We've been solo casting for what, like the past 9 hours, and now I'm joined by the one, the only, the Kuro.
Hello there. It is I, the Kuro. I used to be the casting jersey, now I'm just the Kuro.
Yes.
Ah, I've been demoted.
Promoted. What do you mean? No longer just a jersey. But yes, thank you so much for joining me, by the way. It's been quite a journey so far, quite a broadcast going through the group stage, going through the upper bracket as well, and now we're here towards the tail end of the tournament.
Yeah, we are. We only have 3 series left. We have this upper bracket match, then there will be the lower bracket match, and then the grand finals. But before that, we have to get into this game because we are now on Oceanborn and we have the first of our players in the top left corner, the red Protoss. It is Krystianer.
And we will get ready to introduce our next player. But if you're in the chat, predictions are open for the next couple of seconds. Oh my god, it's very fast predictions. So place your bets while you can, as the predictions will soon close in the chat. So best of luck. Get your gamba going. And what I'm most excited about is that this is a series that we didn't get last time.
Oh yeah, we didn't,
Never mind.
because for those who remember, Spirit was not present at the second Galactic Battle, so now we can finally see Krystianer versus the best Terran in Poland.
And speaking of, here he is in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the blue Terran player representing Team Na'Vi. It is Spirit. But yeah, as you did mention, Krystianer, of course, is our reigning House Galactic Battle champion. The votes are available on YouTube if you're curious. It was a couple of months ago at this point, but he is our reigning champion. Spirit was unavailable at the time, was unable to compete in the previous event, but now he's here. Now he's back.
And now he's here, and he's been doing pretty well so far. I mean, as expected, honestly, out of Spirit. And I am curious if Krystianer is gonna take him down as well, because, you know, it would kind of like cement Krystianer as currently best kind of Polish player, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's done really well for himself already. Like this year, Krystianer has been improving so much, and I think we were looking at his Eligulac not too long ago, and Krystianer, I think he's now the 4th best Protoss in Europe. I think he's now number 4, just behind Skillus, as well as Max Pax and Showtime. So yeah, Krystianer, he has improved quite a lot over this past year, and yeah, I want to see how he does perform against Spirit. Bearing in mind as well that Spirit has already shown that he can bleed here tonight. Art did take a map earlier.
Yeah, and Art is another Protoss player, so that does not bode very well for Spirit. I mean, not that I expect him to lose, but yeah, like already losing to Art and Krystianer being as strong as he is recently, like that's quite a scary thing.
Yeah, it is a scary prospect. We'll see if Spirit can tighten things up. You know, maybe he just needs to warm up his TVP, and maybe that's why he faltered a little bit against Art. You know, we'll see. As Spirit is going for a more economic opener, is settling into his CC on the low ground. Factory is now done, and Krystianer has chosen his tech of choice.
Yeah, it looks like he will be going for a Twilight Kansu in this game. So, what is that for Blink, I guess?
Yeah, I would assume a Blink-based opener out of Krystianer. There we go, Blink is on the way. And we'll see how aggressive Krystianer wants to be. As a reminder, when it comes to how Art was able to defeat Spirits, it was Art being quite aggressive and punishing the greed of Spirits in the early game. It's a little bit too late to really do that here, but it's something to bear in mind that Spirit is known for sometimes cutting corners in a lot of matchups.
Yeah, Spirit definitely is one of those greedy type of players. Like he's the one to focus on his macro a lot in the early game, and yeah, really just I'm trying to remember if I've seen like Spirit cheese. Like, can he do that?
I have seen him cheese in TvT. I have seen him proxy racks. Yeah. So he's willing to. And when it comes to, I remember, like, this is why the House Galactic Battle #1 finals is so just like burned into my skull is because if you remember in that finals versus a laser, Spirit was doing crazy stuff. He was like going like 2 port BC, he was going 2-1-1, like
I
maybe not
mean,
cheese, but like he was having fun with a laser. Like that was like that
yeah,
was a wild
I was
finals.
gonna say they were both having fun at this point.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was a very tricky finals in the first place.
Hmm,
So I
hmm.
feel like that was kind of not the usual Spirit that we see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would imagine so. I'd imagine so. As we see, Krystianer, he went 2-gate blink. So 2-gate blink into a third base, a very economic here by Krystianer. We can see that Spirit is ready for drop play. And Krystianer, he opened up just very safe, very economic, is building up towards the mid game.
Yeah, he's getting that third base ready, and I mean, we'll see how that goes for him because, as you said, there is that drop waiting, there is a Liberator coming as well, but with this harassment that is coming from Krystianer, that may actually pull the attention of Spirit back home.
Yeah, Krystianer is going to try to apply some pressure here. The tank is ready. Tank volley is going to be going off. And the Stalkers have to respond. At the same time, Spirit, he's diving in with that drop towards the natural base.
And the Widow Mines will unload. The Stalkers are there, but still have to pull the workers, and only one of the Widow Mines triggered.
The only one, the second mine shot is not going to quite go off yet. Now this will distract Krystianer as the mine shot goes off. Nice dodge here from Krystianer, but we'll lose 2 probes. Meanwhile, across the map, Krystianer can now focus on his own aggression.
Yeah, he will be loading this War Piece and going into the main base. At the same time, the Liberator is in the base of Krystianer, so he's actually losing a lot of workers.
Yeah, 6 probes going down. Meanwhile, the tank has repositioned just in time that the tank is exposed. And we will try to focus down, but the boys are being pulled and the repair is just a little bit too good. The tank will survive.
Yeah, the tank survives. The Stalkers have been quite damaged. 2 of them already in the red. And yeah, this attack gets completely deflected. Krystianer loses a bunch of workers to the Liberator. This is actually going pretty well for Spirit.
Yeah, and meanwhile, that one Widowmine did reset. It did come back in. 2 more probes going down. Spirit, he's dealing economic damage across the map. And Spirit barely takes any damage back at home.
Yeah, and now he has more defenses in the natural as well, so the Stalkers are not able to get anything done on the front. The War Priest is trying to get into the back of the natural though, as Spirit is moving out.
Yeah, massive move out from Spirit. 3 tanks with the main army and so many Marines as well. Stalkers are getting some economic damage, but what about the main push? Does Krystianer have enough to survive?
Yeah, he sees the push coming with these Stalkers for sure. And we see if that is enough. I mean, there are 3 tanks in this army, there is steam in this army, like these Stalkers are no match whatsoever. And is there anything at home?
We have an overcharge. The overcharge is going to be popped. We have some Stalkers back home. It looks like we did recall back home just in time, but there's still 3 tanks. Massive tank shots going off, and Krystianer, he's up against the wall.
Yeah, and remember, those Stalkers are some of those that were harassing earlier, so they are actually already damaged. Despite the overcharge, they are quite weakened.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, pushing into 3 tanks, it's not going to happen. The tank volleys are insane. And Spirit, he is slowing out of control. He depowers his Chi Water. He denies the warp in, and the boys, they have to be pulled.
Yeah, the nice blink there, but Spirit does take this engagement and will take game number 1.
GG, well played. A very intense game 1. We saw Krystianer attempted to be aggressive, attempted to harass, but every time he moved out, every time he tried to focus on his drop play, we had a Widowmine drop into the natural, we had Liberator into the main base. Krystianer had a really hard time being aggressive while also defending back at home.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like, see, the thing is that it felt like Krystianer was going, like, was doing really well when he like when he defended that Widowmine drop. Like, he didn't really lose workers to it. He had a nice blink micro, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I defended the harassment. It's time to attack." And that's when the Liberator came in, and that's when he goes across the map, and like Spirit is ready for all the attacks. And yeah, it's just started to fall from there.
The other important thing as well is that if you remember, the Widowmine drop did delay Krystianer going into the main.
True.
Like, Krystianer didn't go into the main base until after he cleaned the Widowmine drop. And if you notice, Spirit actually didn't have a tank ready. It wasn't until that time was bought where Spirit was able to get that second tank up and running, then was able to siege up in time just as Krystianer was going into the main as well. So that Widowmine drop did an amazing job, not necessarily killing workers, but at just buying time so Spirit could defend.
Yeah, that was really nicely done by Spirit there, and I mean, in the end, it did won him the game. It did snowball into his advantage, and he is currently up 1-0 in this series.
Oh is currently up 1-0. Now we're getting into game number 2. As a reminder, this is merely a best of 3, not a best of 5. It is a best of 3. And I believe it is purely best of 3s until the finals, which will be a best of 7.
I believe so. I will have to double check that.
Here we go. We are getting ready for game number 2, and I'm hoping for an ace match, but the pressure is now on. Now, bearing in mind that I guess there's a little bit less pressure on these players, this is the upper bracket. Both players technically have a second life in the lower half of the bracket, so or the lower bracket, so they will have that kind of safety net underneath them.
Oh yeah, like this is not the last that we see of either of these players, no matter who wins this series. But still, like, I mean, you generally prefer to be in those grand finals as soon as possible. And I'm sure this player here is hoping for that, as we are currently looking at the blue Protoss player in the top left corner of side Delta. It is Krystianer.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Terran player representing Team Na'Vi, leading the series 1-0. It is Spirit. Did they switch colors?
I just noticed that something is not. I think they switched colors, but I just noticed that something is not quite right on my casting tool. Let me correct that.
Good, but here we go. We are going to be settling in, and we'll see how our players do adjust their builds and adjust their styles. As a reminder, Krystianer, he went for, I believe it was 3-gate blink initially into a third base, into some aggression, and alas, Krystianer had a really hard time both, again, defending, multitasking, and attacking at the same time. So we'll see if Krystianer, he tries to go for a bit of a slower approach or something a little bit different.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him for Krystianer to be a bit more aggressive, but we'll see how that goes, because for now it doesn't look like he's planning anything too out there.
Yeah, just going for a gate cyber expand, standard opener out of Krystianer. Meanwhile, Spirit going for a single gas opener himself, so is going for a CC on the low ground, a much more economic opener this time from Spirit.
Yes, indeed. I mean, again, we know Spirit for being the more economical player in general, so we'll see. I do wonder if he's once again gonna go for like this, like, you know, Widowmine drops and the likes, or if he's just gonna like play more straight up without much harassment at all.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the factory is thrown down a little bit further back. That tells us that there's not going to be an add-on swap. So the likelihood of this being something like Widowmine into a starport, into a drop play, it does make sense. It does make a lot of sense to occur. Otherwise, we could be seeing something a little bit different. Maybe a Cyclone, maybe some additional Hellions. We'll keep an eye on what Spirit goes for.
Yeah, meanwhile, Krystianer once again going for the Twilight Council, so I assume once again we will be seeing Blink from his side of things, and I wonder, is Side Delta a better map for Blink than the previous one was?
It's okay. I mean, as you can see here, the entry point into the main base is quite narrow, so it's not as easy to break into the main as it is on some of these other maps. Meanwhile, nice delay in the CC. SCV is going to go down. And as we can see, it is going to be the 1-1-1, and initially a Cyclone, not a Widowmine from Spirit.
Starting with a Cyclone, I guess that may help with early game defense, but these adepts are actually being really annoying in this natural. Already killed one SCV and denying the other.
Yeah, denying it. He wants it. One more shot. The SV is going to go down. Does cost Krystianer an adept, so not the most free of trades, but will delay the expansion by quite a lot.
Yeah, a lot of the delay, 2 SCVs down, so for one adept, again, not ideal, but I mean, definitely a nice little pick-up for Krystianer.
Definitely, as Spirit is going to be setting up a drop. Medevac is on the way. It's going to be Marines and a Cyclone, as the Cyclone is trying to hunt out any stray units. And we can see an add-on slot being set up as well for either Raven or even Banshee production from Spirit.
Do you think he would actually go Banshee? It's gonna be a Raven,
I mean,
right?
Yeah, it could be either or. I mean, Tank Banshee has been very trendy as of late. It's been very meta over the past couple of months. We'll see what it's going to be here as there it is. It is going to be Tank Banshee from Spirit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I just don't know if Spirit would like harass with the Banshees a lot, but in the meantime, it looks like he will harass with the Cyclones.
Yeah, the Cyclone is on the way. It's only
Cyclone.
just the one Cyclone. Yeah, it's only just the one Cyclone in the medevac, so not the most amount of harassment potential, but this is all about just keeping Krystianer busy back at home.
Mm.
As we can see, Krystianer did go for a 2-gate blink this time, so a lot more economic from Krystianer. He's working towards a longer game, but we'll see if Krystianer can keep up with the aggression with the Cloak Banshees of Spirits. Up!
That is so close. Like, if Blink was done already, like, this Medivac would be going down so fast, but alas, it is still surviving, and that Cyclone has been a little bit annoying, you know, already killing a probe just on the ramp.
Yeah. Not a bad start from Spirit. Meanwhile, the Observer does spot at least part of the main army, but no scout into the main, so Krystianer is a little bit in the dark as to what Spirit is up to. Ideally, we would love to see another Observer just so we can keep up the Cloak Banshee, but again, Krystianer is still in the dark as to what's going on, and the Banshees are getting ready to move out.
I mean, the good news for Krystianer is that he does have that robot and already has one Observer out. Truth be told, the Observer is across the map, but he has that option to make one if he needs it.
Yeah, he has 2 observers. He has one towards the northern side of the map and one across the map, as you mentioned. Neither one is in a mineral line. Neither one is back at home. And speaking of, one of them gets sniped.
Ooh, yeah, that was a bit too far forward. Spirit does notice the Observer and snipes it down. The Stalkers won't be able to blink in, and they will meet the army of Spirit as well.
And at the same time, Banshee is revealed, hits the natural base. The Observer forced to recall back home, and we will be able to defend, but that's going to be 5 probe kills already, and we're not done. We still have that Cyclone in the main.
Yeah, that Banshee was really a distraction. The Cyclone is now free to get into the main base. The Banshee is still in the third at the same time, as the Stalkers are skirmishing with the main army of Spirit.
Yeah, a bit of a tri-pronged attack from Spirit. He drops in the main. He hits the third base. The Banshee finally gets cleaned up, but 10 probes have gone down. And here comes the main push right down the middle, right towards the natural.
I like how the Stalkers are actually following this army, so this may be a little bit of a sandwich from the Protoss side of things, but with 3 tanks, it's definitely not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, who surrounds who as we do catch another reinforcing tank. Very nice pickup here by Krystianer. Free tank goes down. And likewise, getting ready for that surround as well, is going to dive in.
It looked like that the Stalkers were teasing the tank on the back, but ooh, a lot of the Stalkers already falling down, and the Immorta is damaged as well. There are no shield batteries in range here.
Yeah, and meanwhile, another Cloak Banshee into the main base, 19 probe kills, and we are just pulling Krystianer apart, losing far too many workers, 20 probe kills. At the same time, Spirit, he pulls back home, will lose another tank, but has done a lot of economic damage.
Oh yeah, definitely. And even though this army may or may not eventually get cleaned up, like, I mean, Spirit already did what he wanted to do, and with the reinforcement, he should be able to defend whatever is coming his way.
Yeah, I mean, that is a lot of Stalkers. Immortal's taking a lot of damage. That one tank is getting quite low, and Krystianer, he will break through this. The question becomes, back at home, what do we have? We have 2 tanks falling further back, but not much support for these tanks.
Yeah, actually, there's not much apart from these tanks, which is quite scary. There are 2 Immortals here, a lot of Stalkers as well. They focus the tanks immediately. The SCVs are actually pulled to defend, not to repair.
Yeah, 1 tank goes down. There's 1 tank left here to defend, and Cloak is now off of cooldown. Sorry, Blink is now off of cooldown. Krystianer, he can go for another dive. He wants to.
He actually goes forward with the Immortals as they're just trying to take on the tanks by themselves. One of the Immortals goes down, the second will go down as well.
Yeah, the Immortal just couldn't get within range. The Stalkers are too far behind as well. 1 more shot would have been enough, but the last Spirit he holds. He has now a 2nd tank on the high ground, and now he has secured himself. Meanwhile, across the map, that 1 Banshee is still wreaking havoc.
Yeah, I mean, again, as Krystianer is focusing on the front, he does suffer a lot of losses on the back. 2 Banshees at the same time in the main base, in the third base, and he just doesn't have the units to defend both of those locations.
Yeah, and he races back home, so now Spirit, he has survived the aggression. It has been alleviated, and Spirit has held and is still wreaking havoc, still getting even more probe kills. 9 more probes go down, and the Banshee will even escape.
Yeah, one of the Banshees escaped. The second one does as well, so both Banshees do survive. One of them is very low on health, but it is alive, so still can potentially dive back in.
That's 20 probe kills on this Banshee.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
crazy.
know if all of them were probes, but probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's been an insane amount of damage. In total, 36 probes have fallen this game, and Krystianer, what's impressive is that his probe count is still quite healthy, despite losing so many workers, is still keeping up. But this also means he's been spending money on replacing probes and less on his army.
Yeah, meanwhile, Spirit does not have that limitation. He has rebuilt the army. He has 4 tanks on the front already, and they're gonna deal with these stalkers. I assume Spirit will be trying to get his third base. Yeah, he is lifting the command center right now.
Yeah, it's taking his third. The tanks are sieged. He is secure, and Spirit is building up towards that mid game. Krystianer has been investing in quite a cheap army, mainly Stalkers and Zealots, and he could try to break through. Stim is going to finish up in 5 seconds. It's not quite done yet.
And the Zealots get right on top of the tanks. They are dealing with them quite quickly. The SCVs are not there in time, but 2 tanks still stand, and it looks like the Protoss will be stopped, but not without losses.
Yeah, 8 SCVs go down, 2 tanks as well. Not a bad pick off. Meanwhile, the Banshees, they're back! They're back, and there's no Stalkers in position.
The Zealots are trying to protect the probes, but they cannot jump far enough.
They cannot jump. The Banshee hitting towards the natural base. Thankfully, this time there are now Stalkers in position, so we will be able to defend. We will be able to shut down the Banshee. Finally, the Banshee is going to go down. But once again, the damage has been done, and Spirit now takes a supply lead.
Yeah, and he has the third base secured now. Like, it was not denied by Krystianer. He will try to do so again, but I don't know if he can after it's already been set up.
Yeah, exactly. Krystianer, he is committed. Banshee into the main base. The Banshee harass just continues to just wreak havoc, continues to just be the bane of Krystianer this entire game. Is going to try and break out. Is going to try to push into the third, but alas, the tank line is just a little bit too good.
When the fourth base is under attack as well, it looks like it will be safe, but it is quite close.
Yeah, it's going to be close. The Warpin is denied. We're going for the Colossus instead. Oh, my hot pickup here out of Krystianer. Very clutch save. He will save the Colossus, but still 14 probes go down.
Yeah, 14 probes. The Nexus survives, but there are more probes dying as the Banshees are back once again and just, you know, utilizing that air behind the bases and just never letting go.
Yeah, 26 probe kills now on this one Banshee. This is not the same Banshee that had 20 probe kills earlier, by the way.
No,
this is another
this is
Banshee.
the other
one. Has been racking up. Meanwhile, Doom dropped towards the main, and just the constant harass here has just been pulling Krystianer apart, and even more probes are falling. It just doesn't end.
Yeah, the Banshee at the fourth now as well, and both of those Banshees are actually a distraction. As you said, the Doom Drop is now in the main base, and there are no units here whatsoever.
And no units to defend. Does force a recall. Widowmines have burrowed, and while recall's all over, we can just focus on the Colossus.
The Colossus goes down, but also the Warp Beast with another Colossus goes down as well, and the Protoss army is being completely destroyed.
Yeah, this is the dangerous thing about recalling, is your army is vulnerable to whatever you're recalling into. Never going to be going off. Disruptors have arrived, but the Colossus count has been reset to 0. And Spirit, he's still not reaching his final form. He's still been untouched back at home economically. He's barely lost anything in terms of workers.
Yeah, he actually has way too many SCVs on that third base. He's preparing to get a fourth, I guess.
Yeah, fourth is on the way. He's going to be made running over. Spirit rallying across the map. And now he can start focusing on these main pushes.
Yeah, that he can. He has the units for it now, although they're not all on the front. Some of them are still in that Doom Drop in the main base, but some of them are railing into that front position. And yeah, we'll see if Krystianer can split his forces.
And we shall see. Decent EMPs on the Stalkers. Zealots do buy some time. Disruptors pushing forward as well. We have yet to really go for any of these Novas, and we do catch a Ghost. Not a bad fight from Krystianer. What's been impressive here, even though Krystianer's been losing so many workers, he's still able to somehow maintain his own army supply.
Yeah, actually 3 ghosts died. Like, there were 3 ghosts in that army, and all 3 ghosts did go down. For, like, they were... I don't know if I want to say sniped by Krystianer, but they were dealt with, and you know, that's always a nice little pickup for the Protoss. No EMPs inside, until those will be remade.
Yeah, so very nice damage. There are actually 0 ghosts remaining here for Spirits. The main army does come in, going for the CC. Meanwhile, we have a flanking disruptor. Oh no!
It does get spotted. It does get slowed down and doesn't even fire the Nova. But the main army does look a little bit scary. The Spirit has to be careful about how he engages this.
Exactly. Disruptors are a great way to bounce back in this game. You can be down in supply, but with a good Nova, you can bounce back. 15 SCVs go down at the same time. Double drop here towards the south. All that excess is low from earlier, and it might just go down.
Yeah, this single Zealot is not gonna help enough. The Nexus will be going down, and now Krystianer is on 3 bases.
He's down to 3 base economy here. Meanwhile, Spirit was denied his 4th for a time, but is now retaking it, now building himself back up. building into more ghosts. Now ghosts are back in the mix. EMP is now going to be available once again. This army is not going to be as easy to really fight against.
Yeah, there are quite a few ghosts. Important to keep in mind, there are no tanks with that army. All the tanks are in the defense, and actually the armies completely miss each other.
Yeah, Spirit is out of position, and we're going for a base trade. Is Doom dropping into the main base at the same time? Krystianer, does he recall back home?
Oh, I think he wants to defend. He is going back.
Yeah, he goes for the recall. And he will recall in time. He will defend his natural base. Meanwhile, Doom drop into the main.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the best idea, but once again, 15 probes, my bad, are going down, even more still, and another EMP on the Protoss army. That said, the Terrans are a little bit stuck in here, but still, the damage has been done.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not so sure if the recall was the best choice from Krystianer in the end. I mean, I don't know if even a base trade would have been the best choice either. It was just a hard decision to make here, and Krystianer is being pulled apart. GG gets called, and Spirit will take the series 2-0.
GG. Nicely done by Spirit. A really decisive game. Like he just never let go. Like he just kept putting pressure on Krystianer.
Yeah, it was very chaotic, and I want to give some props to Krystianer because even though Krystianer was losing so many workers time and time again, so many probes have fallen in this game, despite that, Krystianer, his main army again was still very comparable to that of Spirit, and was still threatening the bases of Spirit as well. Krystianer never really got the main fight he wanted. He never really got a main army engagement because of the constant harass. But yeah, Krystianer, he was holding his own.
Yeah, again, as you said, like he lost so many workers. And he was still able to, like, you know, fight the opposing army. Like that's quite impressive in its own right, because you would think that like his army would be much weakened, but it was actually fighting there. Like whenever Krystianer was getting direct engagement, it wasn't immediately decided.
Yeah. So impressive performance there out of Krystianer. Did fall in the end, again, due to the constant harassments, the constant engagements there from Spirit, the constant multi-prong attacks. But I'm sure he isn't too disheartened by that series, and I'm sure he's going to be hungry for a rematch as Krystianer is knocked down to the lower bracket. Spirit is going to be our first finalist, but the question becomes, who's going to face off against him?
Yeah, who will join him? As right now, let us quickly refresh the bracket. Krystianer is currently waiting for the winner of Art or Geralt, so we will have that PvP in the lower bracket. And Art has been doing really well this tournament, so I'm actually not sure who it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be close here. Art versus Geralt in the lower bracket semifinals. I believe that should still be a best of one. I believe that's gonna be a best of one between the two of them. And I'm uncertain if we're going to wait for them or if they're going to play out first and then we just go straight for the lower bracket finals instead.
Yeah, I am not quite sure. I don't know if our Polish casters know either, to be honest. I could listen in.
Okay. So yeah, with that, Spirit does advance on, and we will have a PvP up next. It's either going to be Art versus Geralt in a best of one, or the winner of that series up against Krystianer in a best of 3.
Yeah, so get ready, get some drinks, and we'll see you right after this break.
Yeah, see you soon.